Ottawa's new proactive steps against avian flu are raising questions over how concerned Canadians should be about the infection. The Public Health Agency of Canada is buying 500,000 doses of avian flu vaccine for humans. Now, this move comes as experts warn U.S. President Donald Trump's overhaul of that country's public health system is throwing a wrench in addressing the outbreak. So for more on what you need to know about avian flu, we've called up Dr. Isaac Bogosh. Good to have you back with us.
Hey, great to see you again, Anne-Marie.
All right, this is the first time that Canada has procured doses of avian flu vaccine for humans. So, and it's a large amount, or maybe it's not, but it sounds like a large amount to me. What does that tell us about perhaps a larger concern?
Yeah, I mean, we're taking it seriously. We know that this is an infection that's spreading among migratory birds around the world. Of course, any country can be impacted by it. We've seen a large outbreak in dairy cows in the United States with spillover events to humans. We've seen outbreaks on poultry farms around the world. And, you know, there's always the concern that this virus has potential to cause epidemics and, in a worst case scenario, pandemics. And this is a step Canada's taking, a proactive step to protect people who are working in very close proximity with this virus who are at highest risk of infection. So, you know, it's smart to take proactive steps, and kudos to the Public Health Agency of Canada for doing so.
You might have better numbers or more up-to-date numbers than myself, but I think that there's been one human case so far since November. Is that right?
So there's only been one human case in Canada ever. There's been over 67 human cases identified in the United States. The issue here is that, you know, this is a virus that, and that's really important because that puts it in perspective. And we always have to timestamp these conversations, right? We currently do not have a large outbreak of avian influenza in humans. That's just what we just don't have one. But this is a virus that's important for three reasons. Number one, it has the potential to cause individual negative human consequences. We know it's a potentially dangerous virus. Number two, it has the potential to cause epidemics and pandemics. It doesn't mean it will, it just has the potential. And number three, it's a food security issue. We know it can decimate poultry flocks, and we know it can be very damaging to other mammals, including dairy cows. The United States is having a large outbreak in their dairy cow population. And because of those three measures, especially the potential issues in humans that get infected, it's important to have mechanisms to protect ourselves. And you know, I think Canada did a good job in taking proactive measures to acquire these vaccines.
So part of how Canadians are going to protect themselves is through these vaccines. 60% we know are going to be delivered to the provinces and territories, and then the other 40% is going to be held back for what's being described as a national stockpile. Who should make sure that they get access to this vaccine?
Well, I mean, I think we have to push pause for a second because it's not entirely clear who's going to get it. And this is not, you know, currently for widespread distribution. The National Advisory Committee on Immunizations came out with some high-level guidance. And it's like the vaccine's really, you know, considered for people who might be working directly with the virus. So, like, it's important to note, we do not have an outbreak of H5N1 avian influenza in Canada as of February 2025. You know, obviously it's a virus that's taken seriously for multiple reasons. It's just important to have this vaccine in a just-in-case scenario, and also for people who might be at risk, and this is an occupational risk of exposure. And it's just, again, it's important to have that. And, you know, I'm not a betting person. I don't know how this will roll out, but I suspect that, you know, this might be offered to people who are working directly with the virus to add another layer of protection.
I want to ask you about information. So we know the U.S. has been hit hard by avian flu, but the World Health Organization says that the U.S. is limiting info sharing on the infection since President Trump took office. So how is Canada going to receive the information on avian flu that it needs?
Well, you know, that's obviously an unfortunate event, and we know that in the case of any outbreak, it's extremely important to have high-quality data and transparency with that data, and that it helps not just the country impacted by it, but other countries as well. It's just an opportunity for the rest of the world to step up and collect high-caliber information. It's an opportunity for Canada to lead on this front and collect high-quality information and to share that information with the rest of the world.
Well, the U.S. Department of Agriculture says it's going to rehire workers responding to the avian flu that they accidentally fired over the weekend. And those firings happened after U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooks Rollins announced, quote, an aggressive plan to optimize its workforce. So they laid off officials, they're bringing them back. How could that uncertainty that's unfolding right now from the U.S. affect this global response to avian flu?
Oops.
Yeah.
Seems like, this is, like I said, this is a virus we've known about for 25 years. We know what it can do at an individual level. We know what it can do at a population level, or has the potential to do at a population level. And we know it can do to animals, non-human animals, including agricultural animals and wild animals. It's a problem. And, like anything else, these infections are not local issues. They're not country issues. These are global issues. The more global coordination and the more global cooperation we have, the better off we are as a world. No country is an island, right? Mm-hmm. We can do everything right in Canada, but if our neighbor is dropping the ball on this, then we'll have issues, and so will the rest of the world. So it's just so important that we really collect high-quality data, share high-quality data with the rest of the world, and have a coordinated response. And that's not just good for the United States or Canada. It has global good.
Infectious disease specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh, thanks for your insight this morning. Have a good weekend.
My pleasure.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.